Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Solo Sikoa has lost the spotlight since losing the revered Unveil to Roman Reigns in January. The once dominant leader has now become an afterthought, especially with Fatu now making his own decisions. However, Sikoa may look to take over the control once again, and he may do that by appointing two new enforcers for him. The street champion might bring Hikuio and Jeff Cobb to SmackDown. Solo Sikoa and Fatu are set to team up to take on LA Knight and Damian Priest this week on the Blue Brand show. The Samoan Werewolf has been calling his shots lately. He might walk out on his tag team partner in the middle of the match due to a potential argument. Such an angle could deepen the already existing cracks in their alliance. Fueled by resentment, Sikoa could orchestrate a malicious plan against Fatu at Backlash. He could bring in Hikuio and Jeff Cobb and Street Lewis to attack the Samoan Werewolf after his fatal four-way match at the Spectacle. There is a high possibility for such an angle to unfold at the show this Saturday. According to Fightful Select, Cobb is expected to sign with the Stamford-based promotion sooner rather than later and is already on WWE's internal roster. Meanwhile, Hikuio reportedly signed a deal last year and is anticipated to debut on the main roster sometime this year. With both powerhouses potentially on their way, they could debut on SmackDown as Solo Sikoa's enforcers. Such an angle could propel the two behemoths into the spotlight on the main roster. It could also help WWE rebuild Solo Sikoa after a rough few months. Solo Sikoa has been overshadowed by Fatu on SmackDown throughout this year. However, that could soon change if the street champion succeeds in recruiting Hikuio and Jeff Cobb to his side. He could then proceed to take everything from Fatu, including the United States Championship. Sikoa has never won a singles title on the main roster. Last year, he was at the top of the company as the leader of the new bloodline, which also consists of Tama Tonga and Tom DeLo. During the peak of his run as the self-proclaimed tribal chief, he secured huge victories over stars like Cody Rhodes and even Roman Reigns. Given his potential, WWE could be looking to reignite that same magic and re-establish Solo Sikoa on the main roster. A feud with Fatu could give him a blockbuster storyline, which could revive his character. Additionally, the United States Championship could raise the stakes of this potential battle. Sikoa and Fatu could lock horns in a first-ever match at SummerSlam this year. It could also be one of the high-profile matches for this summer. The bloodline isn't what it used to be. What began as the most dominant faction in recent WWE history has been slowly unraveling since WrestleMania 40. And the fallout has reached new depths following the shocking SmackDown moment when Fatu seemingly walked out on Solo Sikoa. In a stunning act of defiance, Fatu's silent yet powerful exit has left many wondering if the Samoan Werewolf has truly abandoned the new head of the table, and if Solo's grip on power is already starting to crack. But while fans and analysts scramble to interpret Fatu's actions, sources close to WWE Creative are teasing something even more intriguing: the possibility that Solo Sikoa is preparing to debut two brand new enforcers to reshape the bloodline in his own image. This would mark a pivotal turning point in WWE's long-running saga surrounding the Anoa'i family. Solo Sikoa, once the quiet enforcer of Roman Reigns, now finds himself at the helm of a fractured empire. And with Fatu's loyalty in question, he may have no choice but to assert dominance through fresh muscle, by surrounding himself with dangerous, unpredictable new allies who are loyal to him alone. The events leading to this point have been nothing short of dramatic. After Roman Reigns lost the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at WrestleMania 40, Solo Sikoa began taking control of the bloodline in subtle but unmistakable ways. With Reigns absent, Solo stepped up, often speaking on behalf of the faction and initiating brutal beatdowns of perceived enemies. Paul Heyman looked on nervously, his allegiance clearly torn between the former tribal chief and the wild card he helped raise to prominence. And then came the arrival of Fatu, a moment many assumed would strengthen Solo's reign. But in typical bloodline fashion, The family drama only grew more volatile. Fatu's debut was electric. Weeks of vignettes and subtle teases culminated in a SmackDown attack that left the WWE Universe stunned. Fatu arrived like a storm, targeting stars such as Kevin Owens, LA Knight, and even a returning Randy Orton. Fans were convinced this new, terrifying version of the bloodline with Solo, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and now Jacob Fatu was poised to dominate WWE for the foreseeable future. But things changed rapidly behind the scenes. Reports of creative tension surfaced. Some insiders said Fatu was resistant to being portrayed as Solo's subordinate. Others hinted that Reigns himself hadn't signed off on this new bloodline direction. And then, last Friday on SmackDown, Jacob Fatu appeared to walk out, turning his back on Solo after refusing to partake in an ambush orchestrated against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. The camera caught just enough. Fatu standing silently on the entrance ramp, arms crossed, expression unreadable, while Solo barked orders and Tama Tonga looked on in confusion. Fatu said nothing. He walked up the ramp and disappeared backstage, leaving the WWE Universe buzzing. Was this a one-off moment of defiance? Or had Jacob Fatu just exited the bloodline as the fallout continues to ripple across WWE's landscape? Sources suggest Sikoa isn't waiting around for an apology. He's moving forward, and that could mean bringing in two new faces, dangerous, untested enforcers who can carry out his vision of a bloodless, merciless bloodline. While names have not been confirmed, speculation is running wild. Let's explore a few of the top possibilities. One name that's garnered serious backstage attention is Zilla Fatu. The son of the late Umaga, Zilla has been training intensely since his professional wrestling debut in 2023. Though his in-ring exposure has been limited so far, his presence is undeniable. He possesses the same explosive intensity his father brought to WWE and carries the weight of his legacy with pride. More importantly, he fits Solo Sikoa's mold, no-nonsense, intimidating, and deeply rooted in family. Bringing Zilla Fatu into the bloodline wouldn't just be a logical move. It would be a chilling reminder of how far Solo is willing to go to reshape the faction in his own image. Zilla wouldn't need to talk. He wouldn't need to explain. His mere appearance in Solo's corner would send a loud message to the WWE locker room. This is no longer Roman's empire. But that still leaves the second enforcer. Enter Lance Noi. While not as high-profile as some of his cousins, Lance has been part of the wrestling circuit for years and has previously appeared in WWE developmental territory. With his in-ring experience and knowledge of the Noi family legacy, he's a prime candidate to step in as an enforcer under Solo's rule. Unlike Zilla, Lance has a more traditional wrestling background, which could make for a deadly contrast. Together, Zilla and Lance could serve as a new version of the Usos, not brothers, but bonded by blood and fear, loyal to Solo and willing to destroy anything in their path. The potential debut of these two enforcers would instantly shake up the dynamic on SmackDown. With Cody Rhodes as the current undisputed WWE champion, and Jey Uso still floating in the title picture, Solo Sikoa needs to make a bold move. He's been trying to establish himself as a true main event presence, and what better way to do that than by assembling a new bloodline free of Roman Reigns' shadow and reinforced by two fresh monsters ready to wreak havoc. If this is indeed the direction WWE is heading, expect the storyline to unfold slowly but methodically. Solo might begin dropping cryptic promos, referencing family who never left or soldiers who never question. Vignettes could start airing, showcasing the training of his new enforcers, perhaps in gritty underground gyms or ominous back alleys, capturing the raw edge of this new chapter. By SummerSlam, WWE could position the new bloodline as a legitimate threat, not just to Cody Rhodes, but to everyone on the roster. Meanwhile, Jacob Fatu's story is far from over. Walking out on Solo Sikoa doesn't necessarily mean he's leaving WWE or abandoning the bloodline concept altogether. There's still speculation that this entire arc could be part of a larger swerve orchestrated by Reigns himself from the shadows. Imagine if Fatu's departure was all part of a test, an audition for Solo, to see how he handles betrayal, power, and pressure. Roman's inevitable return could set the stage for a confrontation unlike any WWE has seen before. A family civil war with Solo's new bloodline facing off against Reigns' loyalists, perhaps even including a returning Jimmy Uso, and Fatu himself. And where does Paul Heyman fit in all of this? His silence has been deafening. Though he still appears with Solo Sikoa, his body language tells a different story. He often looks worried, uncertain, as if torn between loyalty and survival. Heyman has always been a master manipulator, and fans know better than to trust his outward actions. Could he be feeding information to Reigns? Could he be the key that ultimately brings the real tribal chief back into play? All of this adds fuel to the fire surrounding Solo Sikoa's rumored enforcer debut. WWE thrives on moments that feel unpredictable yet inevitable, and Solo surrounding himself with two powerful new allies would absolutely fit that mold. It's a rebirth of sorts, not just for the bloodline, but for Solo himself as he transitions from underling to kingpin. With Zilla Fatu and Lance Anoa'i, or any equally dangerous talents by his side, Solo wouldn't just be a threat, he'd be a revolution. There's also a darker possibility to consider. What if Solo Sikoa's new enforcers aren't family at all? What if, in a bid to separate himself completely from Roman's vision, Solo recruits outside mercenaries, men with no blood ties, no honor codes, just a thirst for violence? This would be a radical break from tradition, but it would serve Solo's narrative. It would show that he no longer values heritage over power, loyalty over dominance. If that happens, names like Bronson Reed, J.D. McDonough, or even a returning Killian Dane could enter the conversation as potential enforcers, not family by blood, but family by purpose. As SmackDown continues to evolve, the questions pile up. Is Jacob Fatu truly gone? Will Roman Reigns return to restore order or burn it all down? And most pressingly, who will stand beside Solo Sikoa as he prepares for war? WWE fans love chaos when it's controlled, and few storylines promise more explosive moments than Solo Sikoa's rise to power. Whether he brings in Zilla, Lance, or someone entirely unexpected, one thing is clear. The next chapter of the bloodline is about to begin, and no one is safe. As fans await answers, all eyes turn to the next episode of SmackDown. Will Solo Sikoa respond to Jacob Fatu's walkout with fury? Will new shadows appear at his side? Or will the head of the table return to reclaim what was once his? One thing's for certain, the bloodline is no longer a family. It's a battlefield. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our WWE official YouTube channel for more update news.